Hello and welcome back to my Endor Imperial Base toy box. Finn is back with me again as well. In my last video I gave a tour of this toy box, which is still a work in progress, and I shared some of my ideas that I have for finishing it. I also asked for suggestions, so thank you for everyone who has watched the video and left comments and your suggestions and ideas. It's greatly appreciated. So got the idea that I'd like to demonstrate how the logic for these double door entrance works, and then I decided, well, if I'm going to do that, let me just demonstrate how I constructed this bunker entrance. So that's what we're going to do here today, is I'm going to build this for you. So I've already brought in from the interior toy box here these 4 Helicarrier pillars, which we're going to use for the bulkheads for the doorways. We're going to start with this terrain block here. Doesn't really matter where we place it, but I'm going to build this over here for everybody. And for the sandy area I used Carburetor County. Set the theme for that. And we'll go ahead and place 3 of these down. And then we'll grab a couple of these blocks to put on each side. And one of these. And we're going to restyle this to Star-Lord's Galaxy. So I have 2 power discs that I'm using for this build, Star-Lord's Galaxy and Calhoun's Command. So I'm just going to briefly set the style for these 2 blocks. What I liked about this is this tile top to it, this concrete tiled floor. Looks weathered. And we'll grab one of these blocks to put in the floor. And we'll change the theme again and set the theme to Calhoun's Command. And for the terrain blocks, this theme will stay the same for the remainder of our build exercise here. So let's grab one of these. We're going to put it over on this corner as a spacer. And then we'll put in these for the side walls. And we can take our spacer back out. So we'll delete that. And now's a good time to put in our bulkheads. So this sits right off of that corner there, just inside of the corner. And we'll grab its partner here, and that creates a nice gap for the double doors to open and close between. And that's, as I said in my other video, that's kind of where the idea for this toy box was born from, was using this single toy as a bulkhead for the doors. The problem with these is they're not 2 blocks high and they're not 3 blocks high. They are 2 1/4 blocks high. So unfortunately that forces us to use the path tool to create much of this build. I'm just grabbing one of my replayers here, which I used for my terrain blends up there on the hillside. So we're going to need a logic gate. So place one of those down and go ahead and we'll grab our hang bar. And we'll need a sound effects generator. And we're going to need a locator for that. So let's go ahead and hook up our locator. And then the properties, we'll just leave them as at their defaults. And now we'll grab a button casing. You could also use a terminal for this. If you want to hack a terminal, it'll work the same. So right off that corner right there. I like the button casings. I like the way they look. So the properties, I'm going to set my cooldown to 2 seconds, but you can set it wherever you want. And we'll do a new logic connection. Might as well hook it up to the logic gate, because that logic gate is going to control the sequencing of the outer doors and the inner doors. So we'll input to that. And our hang bar, what's nice about this is it gives us 2 logic connections. One when pulled down, so we'll input, and then the next one when returned to the top, and we'll input again to that logic gate. And we'll go ahead and move this inside. So right there on that pillar, just to one spot left of it, and we'll hang that on the wall there. Let's grab a racetrack piece here, and the orientation we're looking for is with the blue arrows there. So not that way, that way. And I want this edge to sit right on the edge of the terrain block underneath it, so even with it. Now I use this for my graded floor because the Calhoun's Command has a cool graded floor theme for the racetrack. And I like those little blue lights. Adds a little extra visual interest to it. And I'm just going to pick this up and put it back down just so we can get the path creator, and we're going to put in our paths that we need to construct the bunker. So right there off that corner, and we're going to glitch out, so let's delete that. I hate that glitch. Off that corner, and you can either go down or up. Probably better to go down to get that point out of the way. It really doesn't matter. And we're going to turn this path off because the blocks attached to it are going to be stationary. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We'll go right underneath the button casing, set our path, and go up to our properties, and we're going to turn that off as well. And now for our doors, right off of this pillar here. So find the center and go one to the left, anchor it, and 4 spots over. We'll exit out. And for right now, we're going to turn this off. We'll turn it on later when everything's installed. And to match the sound effect that we're going to use, we're going to set the speed to 70 so that the door stops moving when the sound effects end. Same thing with this one, 4 spots over. And let's go ahead and turn that path off as well. And we want that speed to be 70 as well. Again, to match the length of time that the sound effect runs for. And we need another one for the ceiling pieces, but let's put in some basic blocks before we put in that path, and that'll help us find the location for that path creator. So let's just pick this block up, and that'll get us closer to the basic blocks. And we want one of these ramp verticals, and we can start over here, and we'll theme it. Now I've gone through pretty much every metallic theme style that's in this drawer. None of them really match the movie, so pick whatever appeals to you. If you're recreating this and following my build, I just went with the Endor hanger wall, maybe just because it has the name Endor in it, but I do like the appearance even though it's incorrect. So put 3 along that side and 3 matching blocks on this side. And we're going to need a couple of these upside down ramp blocks. We're going to set these aside because these are all going to get connected to a path. And that's how I created the shape of the front of the bunker. Need a couple of square blocks on each side. So I'm just placing the blocks so that I can connect them to the path. And then for the roof trim, I'm going to want 2 of these trim blocks with the fancy edge facing outwards. 2 for the front and 1 for each side. So again, just set those aside. Those will be connecting them to a path. All right, pick up this locator, put it back down. That gets us right next to the path creator. So we're going to come right off the middle top of that. And we're going to glitch again. So let's try that again. Delete that. Right off the middle top of that to the dead center of the bunker. And you can go up or down. I went up. Doesn't matter what you could go sideways if you want. Really doesn't matter. And again, we'll turn this off. Alright. Let's start building. Start with this block down here. Put it connected to this path. And then a good trick is new logic connection and then exit out, and that anchors the camera so you can adjust the properties and see which way it moves. So this block 4, and I always recommend using reverse one way and stop to lock those blocks into position, just in case something happens and your path gets turned on, then everything starts moving on you. This one doesn't need a path connection. We'll just place it in there just like that. Grab this upside down vertical ramp vertical block, and that's why I put the path point there, because now it's in position, and all I need to do is go to the properties, and we'll do reverse one way and stop and lock it into position. I call that locking the block into position. Let's grab this one and path point underneath the button casing, and new logic connection exit out to anchor the camera properties. See there, and once again we'll lock it into position. Just like the other side, this square block doesn't need to be connected to the path, just put it in there. And we'll hook up this upside down vertical ramp, and again fits right on top of the path point, that's why it went there. And lock it into position, reverse one way and stop. Alright, so this build goes pretty fast. I've done this a number of times because I built this same bunker 4 times for this toy box, so it takes me about 35 to 40 minutes to do it. Following my video, it may take you an hour or a little bit more, because you're going to have to pause the video and get the parts and pay attention to the settings, and not one way and delete. Let's go back, let's fix that. Let's make it reverse one way and stop. We'll hook this front trim piece up similarly. Lock the camera. This one's going to go -6, -1, and forward 1. And reverse one way and stop to lock it in case the path gets accidentally turned on. Now the side trim pieces. Again, anchor the camera. And this one's actually going to go the positive direction 4, -1 on the vertical, and out +11. And then let's reverse one way and stop it. Alright, one more here for the trim pieces. If I can find that path point. There we go. Hook it up. New logic connection, exit to anchor the camera. And this one we're going to go -4, -1 on the vertical, and +11 on the forward backward, and reverse one way and stop it. And this is what we should look like. That's how we get those pieces blended in there. Just trying to get as close as possible to the movie set look. We don't have the exact geometric shapes we need to really recreate it, so the best we can do is get as close as we can. My build probably doesn't need to be this complex, but yeah, it's fun to build anyway. So we're going to get this large floor, and it's going to sit right on the edge of this block and 2 spots up. This is going to be the ceiling inside of the bunker, and I used steel theme. So I'm going to set my theme. So we're going to place a couple out here because we're going to need 2 more for the front part, and then we'll grab some of these small floors. We'll throw 3 of these in here just to fill that gap, and now we can hook these large floors up to our same path here again, and then we'll adjust our properties to get it into position. So anchor the camera. And I'm going -5 on this one and not -6 all the way to the edge. That's so that it doesn't show through the edge of the side of the bunker. And -4 to move it back. And lock it in, reverse one way and stop. And I'm going to do the same thing with this large floor. Again, when I move it to the side, we're going to go 5 units and not 6, so it doesn't stick out the side. So those two floor blocks will kind of merge in the middle, but you really don't see the glitching too much because of the dark color. And reverse one way to stop to keep it locked in there. Alright, so you can see now here the ceiling. And then that takes care of those gaps there because of how those trim pieces are set. And it gives it a nice smooth look for the ceiling. There were actually pipes running along there, but in the ceiling I put my pipes at floor level. Alright, now we're going to need a couple more of these for the roof. And re-theme this. And I went with asphalt, so come over here to the left of steel and we'll find asphalt. And what I liked about this, place a couple of these, is I like the gray color, but I also like that it's pitted. As you can see, here's Finn walks on it. So it's gray. I like that gray color, but it's pitted, so it looks like it's been weathered. And that's why I went with the asphalt. And we're going to need some blocks underneath it. So we're going to place 3 on this side and 3 for this side. And we'll hook these all up to the path as well. So there's nothing complex about this build. Probably the most complex thing was me just figuring out what I wanted to do with it. The path tool is such a handy tool to make more complex looking designs. So move this over. That will go the full -6 units, and go back +8 on the forward backwards, and reverse one way and stop. So nothing here is particularly difficult. It's just a bit tedious and time consuming, but like I said, make this build several times. If you add more than one bunker, if you're going to make a bigger base like I did, because like I said, in Battlefront there was identical bunker entrances, multiple bunker entrances into the main base for the Battlefront 2 game, and that was part of my inspiration for creating this toy box. So once you do this a few times, like I said, it goes pretty quick. Now some of your properties might be different. If you have your 1x3 blocks here turned around the opposite direction, then this horizontal might be +6 instead of -6. And your forward directions might be minus instead of plus. You know, you could be opposite. So it depends upon the orientation of your blocks. But the idea, hopefully you get from this, if you want to recreate my bunker, is how the pieces fit in there and move. And then by locking the camera view, that allows you to see the pieces move, so you can adjust your properties as you need to get the proper build. I actually learned that locking the camera, anchoring the camera trick from that brown bat. If you ever watch any of his Let's Build videos, he's got a lot of great building techniques that I guess it takes advantage of glitches in the game, but he knows a lot of them, and I've learned a lot just from watching his videos and saying, hey, I like the way that worked. Not one way, delete, we want reverse one way and stop. I like the way that trick works, so I'm going to use that for my builds. And anchoring the camera is one of the little tricks I learned from him, so that the camera doesn't go all haywire when you're trying to adjust the properties. And lock it in, reverse one way and stop. Alright, now we can put these pieces on top, delete that one because we just, and we get our glitch where that block pops out. So also learned this from that brown bat, easy fix. Go back into the properties, pick any of these settings and just toggle it back and forth in either direction, and it'll snap it back into position for you. Alright, so it's coming together. So there's our roof, and I like the weathered top and the weathered edges here. That's why I have those 6 blocks underneath. Alright, I'm going to place another small floor here. I'm going to make a floor grate for the doors, and I'm going to use the Genosian Droid factory floor grate. And I want to spin that around that direction. Put 4 of these down because we're going to connect them to the path, and I'll show you why I wanted this orientation. So you see the way the lines, the gray lines on the side and this line down the center, kind of looks like a track system, like the doors track along those floor grates. So I'll hook this one up. You can choose the properties first. New path connection. We'll hook it up there, and you see it's offset because the way those helicarrier pillars fit in there. So I'm going to lock the camera, and then we need to adjust the path. And again, if you have yours spun around 180 degrees to mine, then your settings will be the opposite. Let's do this in the this is actually easier if we do this in spark mode, so that's why I switched to spark mode here. Hook this one up, new logic connection, exit back out to anchor the camera, +1, and these we definitely want to reverse way and stop, because we're going to turn these paths back on once the doors are attached, and we don't want these floor grates moving. We want them to stay in position. So that's why we're locking them into position with the reverse one way and stop. -4 on that one. Like I said, if you had that 180 degrees around, it would be -1 and 4 instead of 1 and -4 like I used. Hook up the last floor grate here. New logic connection, exit back out, hit your properties, the camera's anchored. Now we can watch it move, and reverse one way and stop. I'll get some block walls here for our door panels. We're going to need 4 panels for the outer door and 4 for the inner door, so that looks outer there. The other orientation was inner. And I'm going to change this one over to Coruscant metal tile. I am not in love with these colors. These are the wrong colors. The outer door in the movie was kind of a shiny silver, and the inner door was a darker, almost like copper color. We don't have those colors. For the inner door, I'm going to use Tatooine brown metal. So I am not in love with these colors. Like I said, I've tried I've gone through every metal style. I stuck with these because I like the texture of it. I like the metallic texture of them. So don't like the colors, but like the texture, and it's kind of grown on me, so that's what I'm sticking with. Alright, for the outer door, I'm going to use this panel here as my master to control everything with the outer door. So we'll connect it up to that path. New logic connection, exit out, properties, and we're going to set the endpoint on these outer doors to 50%. If you leave it at 100, when the door opens, those panels will be sticking out both sides of the either side of the bunker, and it won't look right. So for the 4 outer panels, so +4 there on horizontal, forward backward -1, reverse one way and stop. So we want to set the endpoint for these outer panels to 50%, so it's when the doors open they stay contained inside. Just moving that logic gate over there so I can access it with my wand. Alright, so logic gates default to open. So new logic connection on output. We're going to reverse the path on this panel. And because it's the master, new logic connection, when that path is reversed, come back to the logic gate and we're going to close it. And that will allow the logic gate to control the inner door. And we want to make a sound, so new logic connection when the path is reversed. Go to our sound effects generator. Under general, scroll down, and I like humming machinery. I think it's a great sound for doors opening and closing, at least larger doors. I like the deactivation sound for my smaller, faster moving doors. Alright, for the inner door, this is going to be our master as well. So hook it up, new logic connection, exit out to anchor the camera, properties, endpoint, because this is an outer panel, set it at 50. Takes forever to scroll, but move it -4, +1 on forward, and reverse one way and stop. I'm going to grab this panel here and I'm just going to pull it out and move it aside so it's not in our way. When we turn on the path, it'll automatically return to its position. So now, after the outer doors have opened or closed, it closes the logic gate. So on input blocked, we are going to reverse the path of this panel, which is our master panel for the inner doors. And then when that path is reversed, I'm going to send a signal back to this logic gate to open it so that it'll operate the outer doors. And once again, we want our sound effect. So when that path has been reversed again, let's come back to our sound effects generator, general category, and we're going to use that same humming machinery sound effect. Alright, we'll hook up the outer panel on this side of the entrance. Anchor the camera. Endpoint again needs to be 50 because this is an outer door panel. The inner door panels, we don't have to do this. We can just leave them at 100%. It's only the outer door panels we have to worry about how far they travel so that they don't protrude out the outside of the walls of the bunker. Now, since this is the master for the inner doors, new logic connection, when that path has been reversed, we're going to tell each of these other 3 panels to reverse their path as well. So the outer panels on the left-hand side of the entrance for the inner and outer doors are the control master mechanisms for all the other panels for the respective doors. Logic connection, exit anchor to camera, properties. Now this one we can leave that at 100% because it's the inner door panel, don't have to worry about it. protruding out the side of the bunker. And reverse one way and stop. And we'll hook up our master. The path is reversed. We want to reverse the path on that panel. And we'll place this panel. This is the part of this build process that probably takes the most amount of time, because I couldn't use the large panel because the large panel would go outside of the structure. Reverse one way and stop. And we'll make our last connection here from the master panel. Again, when the path is reversed, we want to reverse the path for that panel. So the logic on the inner door is complete. So let's grab this panel and we'll connect it up to this path point, and this will be an outer panel for the front door, the outer door. So again, end point needs to be at 50%. There we go. Horizontal -4, -1, and reverse one way and stop. And we'll just, this is the master for the outer door, so when the path is reversed, same exact connections as the inner door. We'll reverse the path on each of these other 3 panels. Alright, these next 2 panels are the inner doors, a little easier to hook up, less properties to adjust. Lock the camera, new logic connection, exit, properties, -1, and reverse one way and stop. Make your logic connection from the master panel. Hook up this last panel. Anchor the camera, set the properties, simple again, just the forward backward -1, reverse one way and stop. And for the last time, new logic connection. When the path is reversed from the master panel, we will reverse the path of this panel. That's a lot, it's tedious, but we're done. Alright, let's put our locator here in the center for our sound effect. And we'll turn our paths back on. Hopefully the floor grates, if we did our job correctly, the floor grates will stay in position. And when we turn this one on, that door panel will snap back into position for us. And there we go. Let's see how we did. Finn will come over here and push the button for us. Outer door opens. Get our sound effect. Push it again. Input blocked. Inner door opens. Sound effect again. Nothing's hanging out that side. That's a good thing. And nothing's hanging out this side. Thank you, Finn. Thanks for checking. Take a walk inside here. We'll pull down on our hang bar. On output, outer doors close. On input blocked, inner doors close. Pull it again. Logic gates open. On output, the outer doors open. Input blocked. Those inner doors open. And that's how we can open and close a double door system using a single activation system, whether it be the button casing, the hang bar, if you want to use the what am I trying to say? The terminal, and hacked the terminal. So I picked up that terrain block just to get us back to the basic blocks a little quicker. And I'm going to throw in some steps here. And actually, I think before I do that, to get the spacing right, let's go back up to blocks. Grab these angled pieces. And we're going to put a couple in here up to the ceiling. And let's go back to our stairs. And I'm going to, looks like that we still have the Tatooine theme here, so let's go back and change that theme again. Back over to the right, and I went with the Geonosian floor grate. Kind of makes it look like it's, instead of being solid stairs, it looks like it's individual steps. A little, at least it does to my eye a little bit more. So I kind of like that graded look. So go 3 down here. Come back over to the right and get these upside down wedge blocks, and I like these for the ceilings. I mentioned that in my other video because it matches exactly the slope of the stairs, and it makes for really smooth camera transitions, and it looks good too. So we're going to place these, and I'm going to go back here and change this theme back to steel so it matches our ceiling panels there that we placed in. And place 3 sets of 2, matching our slope of our steps. Let's grab some floor here. Kind of move it down and center it, just like that. Throw another one in there. And we'll need some blocks to fill in the gaps underneath. So we use some of these 1x3 blocks under there and up under here. And we'll get some wall pieces here. Throw some of these in along the sides. And then fill in some blocks on the top here. Fill in the light so there's no light coming through the gaps on those. Couple there, one there, and we'll go with this 3x3 block right there. Alright, so that gets us down a level into the base. Like I said, nice angles with those upside down ramp blocks. See the nice smooth angles there, smooth camera transitions as your character goes up and down, because the slope of the ceiling is mimicking the slope of the stairs. Alright, let's put some final touches on this. Come over here to these terrain blends, and let's go back to our carburetor county theme, set the theme. These terrain blends always do a nice job of smoothing out the hard edges when you're changing the theme of your outdoor terrain. So place some of these along there. You can place this all the way on the block. I went halfway back. I like that a little bit better, so it didn't fully cover those Star-Lord's Galaxy blocks. Let's grab our kiln decoration here. Borrow from that the kiln barrier. I like the pipe on it and the red flashing lights. These kiln pieces always are seem to be very fitting in a Star Wars theme toy box. They always work out well. I see a lot of other creators using kiln pieces. And let's go up to group 5 here to the Death Star, and there was these 2 circular things on top of the roof towards the front. So use these floor detail bees, Put one there. You can orient them however you want. And put one there. And your bunker entrance is built. And I got you down to your first level going underground. Now you can build your terrain and your hillside up around there, and then you can build down into and let your imagination run wild. So there is our Endor bunker build. Hope you like my design. Put a lot of thought and effort into it. It's kind of a fun build, like I said, a little bit tedious. And there's our doors between the two bulkheads there. Slot. Output, close the outer doors, and on input block, close the inner doors. And there we go. There's our bunker. So I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial here. Hope you liked the build. If you don't follow my exact design, maybe it gives you some ideas. I particularly hope that everyone enjoyed the logic for using a single activation device to operate two doors versus having a button for the outer door and a separate button or mechanism for the inner door. I came up with this logic when I was working on my Return of the Jedi Endor toy box, because I was thinking there has to be a way to control both doors from a single point. As always, feel to leave a comment down in the comment section. Thanks for your time, thanks for watching, and everybody have a great day.